The rooftop was glowing under soft lights, city towers rising behind the glass railings like symbols of success. It was the kind of place where everyone dressed to impress and every smile came with an agenda. At the center table sat a black woman in a modest black dress, her posture calm, her expression unreadable. She looked completely out of place to the people watching, and that was exactly the mistake they made. Her husband stood beside the table, one hand resting possessively on the shoulder of a blonde woman in a red dress. The woman laughed too loudly, her phone already angled as if she were recording. Guests nearby leaned in, sensing something was about to happen. Drama always traveled fast in rooms like this. The husband cleared his throat and gestured toward his wife as if she were a problem that needed solving. "I think you should leave," he said, his voice firm enough for others to hear. A few people gasped. Others smirked. The wife looked up at him slowly. "Excuse me?" The mistress stepped in before he could respond. "Yeah," she said, laughing. "For another man, this is embarrassing. You don't belong here." She glanced at the table, the wine, the skyline. I mean, look at this place. Do you even know how expensive one plate is? You're sitting here like you fit in, but let's be honest, you're poor trash pretending to be classy. A couple of guests laughed nervously. Someone whispered. Someone else raised their phone higher. No one defended her, not even the man who married her. The husband avoided his wife's eyes. "Just go," he muttered. "Don't make a scene." That was when everyone expected her to break. Cry, yell, beg. But instead, she crossed her arms and looked around the table, studying each face carefully, like she was memorizing who they really were. "You want me to leave?" she asked quietly. The mistress rolled her eyes. Finally, some self-awareness. The wife reached into her purse, pulled out her phone, and typed a single message. Her hands didn't shake. Her voice didn't rise. "I'll leave," she said, "but not the way you think." She took one step back from the table just as the elevator doors behind them opened. No one noticed at first. Then the chatter stopped. A group of sharply dressed men walked out, their presence commanding without effort. At the center was an older man with silver hair and a calm, authoritative expression. Several guests recognized him instantly. The color drained from their faces. The man scanned the room, then his eyes landed on the woman in black. "There you are," he said warmly. "I was wondering why you weren't answering." He walked straight to her, ignoring everyone else, and gently kissed her forehead. "I hope I'm not interrupting," he said, then turned to the stunned crowd. "But I heard my daughter was told she didn't belong." The word daughter hit like thunder. The husband froze. His mouth opened, then closed again. The mistress stepped back as if the ground beneath her had shifted. Someone whispered the family name. Another guest audibly inhaled. The man continued calmly. "My daughter prefers a quiet life. She doesn't use our name. She doesn't flaunt money. She believes character speaks louder than wealth." He paused and looked directly at the husband. "Clearly, that confused you." The mistress tried to laugh it off. "Sir, there's been a misunderstanding." He raised one hand. "You called her poor trash." Silence. "Let me clarify something," he said evenly. "Everything you see around you tonight exists because of people like my family. The buildings, the companies, the investments, including several represented right here." Phone slowly lowered. "I don't tolerate disrespect," he continued, "especially toward my daughter." He nodded to an assistant, who stepped aside and began making quiet calls. The husband finally found his voice. "I didn't know," he said desperately. "If I had known—" "That's the problem," the father replied. "You only see value when it's announced." Within minutes, the mood shifted from entertainment to panic. Guests checked their phones. One man whispered about a deal being pulled. Another excused himself, pale and sweating. The mistress stood frozen, realizing the laughter had vanished. No one was on her side now. The wife turned to her husband for the first time since her father arrived. Her voice was calm, but final. "You told me to leave," she said. "So I am." She removed her ring and placed it on the table. By the next morning, the husband's career was over. His company issued a statement about ethical violations. The mistress found herself uninvited, unfollowed, and forgotten. And the woman they mocked, she walked away quietly, arm in arm with her father, unchanged by the reveal. Because she never needed to prove who she was. They proved who they were instead.